Well, finally we got to the last video of this basic level for Excel for Business. And today we're going to cover two important topics, the lookup and reference, Vlookup and HLookup, and also the functions, the logic functions when we are going to cover the function if, and or. Okay, so let's start with topic number 14. And before starting, I'm going to explain you all what this is function about. After some function, the VLOOKUP is the second function mostly used in Excel. In the working environment or any other type of business or institution, you'll always see that this is the most commonly used function after the sum function. I am referring to VLOOKUP. And here in this exercise, we are going to work with 4 files. As you see, I have the first sheet that is search replacing, VLOOKUP comparing data, VLOOKUP locating information, and finally HLOOKUP. Here's nothing because I'm going to teach you how to copy and overlapping information that we are seeing now. So let's start with VLOOKUP replacing it. Now, here we have an exercise that is giving me the date of production. Here are the products, here are the states where I'm working with, and the quantity produced or sold. These are the product price, and these are the price by states. So what we need now is just to place and replace with this small database or tables that I have here. For instance, if I have these products, so these products they have a fixed price. The prices are here, each of them, and here I have the products. How can I do to locate these prices automatically here in this column in each of the cells? So let's see how many rows we have. Control Shift down key, and we have more than 3,000 rows of information. Therefore, we need to use a function as a VLOOKUP to replace that information allocated here, the prices of all these products that were previously stated here. Also, I have another small table where I have the prices by state, and I also want to replace these prices and locate then all these prices but by state. As you can notice here, we have the column D that are the states. Okay, let's start first working with this small table and just locate here in this cell, in cell F3, and I'm going to use the reference and lookup. So I'm going to use the VLOOKUP. Once I generated the function, double click, as this according to the syntax is asking me which is your lookup value, which is what you want to find out. So I'm going to select this C3. This is my lookup value. Okay, then add a comma, and then it's asking me what is your table array, your matrix. So this table is all this. I could select from the heading itself until the last cell. So the range will be from J3 until K11. But I'm going just to fix this table. Remember to use function F4 to have it fixed, to keep it freeze as an absolute value. Then comma, and then it says give me an index column, which is the column that you would like to add here. Which of these two? According to the selection, I selected starting from J3. So this J is the first column according to the selection, and K column is the second column. So I just import these prices here. So I just type number 2 because it's the second column. Then add a comma. Now it's saying, do you want an approximate reference or a sharp reference? Obviously, I want the sharp one. So I type 0 here or false. So just type only 0 and then close parentheses. With this, I'm indicated that I would like to start that information from the product. So let's suppose, for example, it has this cost, and it's correct. But the good thing is as follows. If I do the autofill with double click, you can see that all prices of these products are inserted here until the last one, until for this 3,608. So for instance, if I'm going to change the price of these products, it changes not only there, but automatically all the prices that are related to these products, to this product. Why? Because the information is making reference to the information that I got here. Because any change that I have here is going to alter the information in that column. So you place the information in this cell based in that in this table it has in common these columns, the products. Okay, let's repeat the procedure for the second case. So I locate here, I'm going to type equal Vlookup, and now it's asking me the lookup value as a reference. In this case is in the D2 because it's it's D3, and then at a comma, and then it says select in the basic or the matrix table. So I just select this whole little table that I have here to the right. Now do you see that I'm going to select it from the first row, not from the headings. The headings, you're not going to use them to search, so it's just enough to select from the first row. Then just fix it with F4 and then a comma, and then it's asking me again which is the last one that we're going to replace with data. So according to the selection, the first column is the state and the second column is the price. So I just type 2 and comma, and now I type 0 or false. In this case, I'm going to type false. Then close with the parentheses. And now it immediately included the price for Tennessee is correct, 280. But if I do the autofill, then everything is replaced until the 3068 cell. Well, with this, I use the first method to work using the Vlookup, replacing information. It's searching information and reference. Let's continue with the second case. In this example, I have two identical databases. Here, I have some codes from 1 up to 20, and here I have some names of partners. I have also the type of partners. I think we have already worked with this in the mathematical function, I think. And I have another column of the fee payment by the partners. Everything is in order here from 1 to 20. But let's see, in the second table, it's a copy, basically a copy from the first one. I have the same codes, have the name, the partner's name, the type of partner, and the fee paid by the partner. But if you notice in the codes are not similar to this one, not the same. In reference it could be, but some are repeated twice. For instance, code 1, I can see it here a second time, and it's repeated here, and maybe no, it's just repeated twice. Then the code number 2 is just here, here, and here. So it's repeated many times. So there are some registries that are not equal to the in comparison to the first table. So what we are going to do is just to find out which are these registries that are missing. To discover this, which are the rows that are missing, I'm going to generate an auxiliary table. And here in F2, I'm going to type auxiliary, and I'm going to apply the same type of format with the format painter. Okay, ready. I have my auxiliary column, and here I'm going to generate the Vlookup function. Then I type equal Vlookup. Why this function? Because I'm looking the information in vertical way. So it's asking me which is your looking value. So let's see which is the most common between these two tables, the code. So this is what I'm looking for. Then I selected, add a comma, and it continues. Give me your table array. In this case, it's not necessary to select the whole database like this, neither from the headings. What I'm going to do right now is just selecting the column that is equal to the next one, to the previous one. Even though the names of the partners are repeating and the types and the fee payment are repeating here in this second table, but there's something that makes it unique. That is the code, because the code is not repeated here, but here there are some that are repeating. That's why it's unique. Then I select this column starting from the one until the last one, like this. So I fix it with F4 so that this will be an absolute value. Then I add a comma, and now it's asking me the number of index column. What is the number 1? So this is just 1. So I add a comma, and finally 0, that is equal to false. Then close parentheses and enter. So that way, with this result, is saying that this code is found in this second table, in this code column. It is there, and it's saying because I got information here. So this means that that code is here. If I do double click here, see what happens. So those that are found also here and here are going to appear here, represented in that way. So those that are not found will have this error warning with this. So this means that they are not in the other database. Let's verify. For instance, let's see this 6 code, and we are checking up. No, you see the 6 is not here. Number 9 is not anywhere here in this column. So I'm using pretty well the information. So how can I do now? What can I do here? Just simply back to this information here and put it here also that I don't have. But if you notice here, I have this like error. It's because they were not found. So what I want to do now is just not to show them, but in this function I'm going to add something else. I'm going to start from the start. I'm going to add if error. Then I go to the end of the formula and add a comma or a semicolon according to the system of your keyboard, and two quotation marks, and then close. This quotation marks means empty space. There's no need to make a space between them, and then enter. And it must be included in the end. Okay, ready. See, nothing happened here, nothing was solved here, but if I do the autofill, now it's saying to me now that these elements are not located in the other table. So that's why these cells are in blank and represented like this, adding the function if dot error. So this avoids to show the error in a presentation. Now I'm going to add the filters, Ctrl-Shift-L, and now it says show me all the empty spaces. Show me all in blank, and here I got all these empties. Now I can copy them and add it to the other table. Therefore I can bring one information, information to the other table. So let's select again, and I start again. So this way I could select or detect which are those codes that are not included in the other table. So now we're going to see bonus here. Here we're going to generate those codes that are repeated the most here in this table. Let's see. Okay, so here I'm going to generate another column, and we are counting. I copy the format also with the format painter with this brush, and this will be my auxiliary. I'm going to take out the filters and just locate here in this cell. Then we are using the function countIf. What does this mean, countIf? We used it before in an exercise. It's asking me for a range, and then I'm going to select this range from here, all these codes from the second table, and I'm going to fix it, yes, with F4 to have it fixed, comma, and now it's asking me what is the searching criteria. What do you want to search in this range that you made? And then I say I want to search for this code that is here, and I don't need to fix it because this is going to change. And then I close and enter. Now I have this number, you can see it here. So this means that this code, that S001, is repeated here twice. So yeah, I verify, yes, that's correct. It is here and then also here. Okay, so if I do the autofill right now, you can see that these numbers are repeated many times. As in the second one, S002, I found it 4 times in your second table. The third one is S003, I found it just once, and yes, it's true, just once. The next one was twice. So those like this, the number 6 is just giving me 0. This means that this code S006 is not repeated anymore in the second table, and so on, because they are repeated just once, twice, 3 times, up to 4 times. So with this, we saw something additional to the function Vlookup. If you want to find it quickly, it's just that logic that we need to understand how it works, and it's developed only practicing. Okay, so now what we're going to do is go to the third exercise to see the third way we can use VLOOKUP. The third way is like this. Let's suppose that here we have a small system, and we'll make a zoom. From this, what I want to do is when I type in this code, for instance here, I'm going to put it in caps. It's 0-01, and now you have it in red because I predetermined it here like this. You can change it into blue. When I type in the code, I would like to have here the name of that partner and also the type of the partner, so these letters that you see here, and the fee payment of this partner. So to create this type of system, that's how we use the Vlookup. Let's do it. So just type, select the cell here, and here I type the Vlookup, and here it is. And it's asking me which is your lookup value, where is the value that you are looking here in this data, and I just said here this cell. Okay, so I'm going to fix it here with F4, and now you will see why. Then add a comma, and now it says which is your table, your matrix where you're looking at. And here I'm going to select all the data until the last one up to here. See that I selected not only the column of codes but also included the partner name, type of partner, and the fee payment. So I selected 4 columns. It's a total starting from code. So I fix it with F4 again to have it freeze, and then it's asking me which is the column index number that you want to show here in this column. So according to the selection, the code is the first, the other one, the third, the fourth, and now what I want is the second because I want the partner name, and then add a 0. I want it sharp. Then close parentheses and enter. And now you see that it automatically appears the name of the partner with the S001 code. For instance, if I change it here into, instead of 1, I change it into 3, it's going to change to the third partner. Now what I do right now is just to take it down, and all of them will be the same, but I need to change the column only. Here I'm going to type number 3, and here you see the letter B. So in the third row wouldn't be the 2, number 2, it will be number 4, and then I have what this person pays as a monthly fee. But I'm going to put it with the dollar currency. For instance, if I would like to change it into number 7, and you see the data is going to change, and all of this responds to this person that is type A, and excluding the monthly pay. So this is how this system works. Why did I fix it first from E until E3 or E31? It's just to make it everything in just one group, not row by row. So this was column 3 and number 4. Why? Because this is the column number 2, this is column 3, and this is column 4. Now I'm going to add something else. Here, to avoid typing the codes manually, what I can do is just making a validation of data. Just locate here, you go up to dates, and here in the upper part it says date validation. Just double click here, and here you have this window, and here it's asking me what do you want to allow in this cell. And now it's when I have a value, and I add, and I type just list. Now this is open, and now I put the cursor here, I press on this arrow, and I select all the codes that are included here from the first one and to the last one. So you can see now the range of this. Then get back to with the key, the range is included with the equal, and then just say hi, accept. I accept. Now I can see then as a list all the codes are included here, so I don't have any need to type one by one, but I just make a click and I have the list scrolling down. So in this way I inserted a group of cells in one cell only. This is a list. It is the validation of data. Okay, so finally we are going to see the function HLOOKUP. HLOOKUP means searching horizontal way. I don't have nothing here because I wanted to bring this information to this sheet, but in different way. Select the titles or the headings that I have here. I'll make a copy of them, Ctrl C, and all the information is copied. I go to the other sheet and I'm going to locate here some information. Let's suppose I'm going to place it here in this cell, right button of your mouse. But now I'm not going to do the Ctrl V, like copy and paste. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to make a special paste. You can double click and it's open. And here, what I'm going to do is just transport the information. And you see how the information is overlapping. If you had it here in columns, all the information was in column. Now here is by rows. We have the name of the partners, the type of partners, and the monthly fees by partners. So this means to translocate. And now everything is in rows. So I'm going to reduce everything. I'm going to do double click in these intersections. Okay. Maybe this wider, and here I have it. So I'm going to make a copy of this information just as it is right now. So I'm going to make a copy in a very normal way. Let's see where does it end until row number 10. I'm going to increase some rows. Let's insert and ready. Again, I'm going to do it. Select everything. This maybe could be wider. And now go to copy this information as it is right here, from here to here. Then we Ctrl C and make a copy, but in a normal way, as I said before. We're going to see it occupies until row number 10. I'm going to increase this, insert, and here it is. Now again, I'm going to do it again. Select all this with Ctrl C. I'm going to paste it here. Just to paste it there with Ctrl V. I'm ready. So here I have again this. I'm going to delete these formulas. And here there is again the list, but this list comes from another part. How do I solve this? I just select it, go to data, go to variance, and clear all, and then OK. Okay, so it's not anymore, there's nothing here. So like this, I just brought the information here. What do I want now? I'm going to expand it a little more. And here what I want to do is just searching information, but in a horizontal way, not as vertical as was before. So I'm going to do the search in a horizontal way. Very few times you can find this kind of searching the information like this. So I'm going to make a zoom in again, and there it is. So here I'm going to find the list, all of these codes list. Now I can do it in the same way as it was in vertical sense. So go to this cell, go to data, and then go to data validation, and I want to generate a list, and I just locate here in this cell the black cell. Now see, I can select all the codes in the horizontal way until the last one. Then I get back to the arrow, and now here with this I'm going to locate all the codes. I was repeating the same as the previous case, but in horizontal way. So I give the information that belongs to this. So now I'm going to perform again the function. This is just once, that's the good point. Then equal h lookup. Now it's saying which is the data value that you are searching for. I'm going to select it because I'm going to drag it down. Then comma, which is your matrix. Your array is starting from here, this first code, all this to the right until the last one and downwards. So see that this selection is made as rows in horizontal sense. The second row is getting the first position. Third row is the number 3, the number 4, and so on. And now I fix here, and now I say, what do I want to bring up? So I'm just selecting number 2 because I want the name of the partners. So I comma and 0 to have sharp data. Now you can see that I brought automatically the name that is located here. The response corresponds to this name. If I change something in the list, like this one, 12, I'm taking this information. So I drag it down, and here you just see I can change the number of the row, could be number 3, and here I'm going to change the number into number 4, and ready. So this is located with the center aligning, and give it the format to the currency. I'm ready. I can change it here. I also change everything here inside this, like this. I can select the currency here, and now I change here, then also change the information this way. Obviously here I'm doing in the same sheet. It's either better if we can do it in the same sheet. You can have it all the information in separated. We're just doing as an exercise, an example. Okay, with this we finished with the Vlookup and reference. The most important, Vlookup and HLOOKUP. Sometimes you are going to use it, but not so frequent. This is the last topic when we are going to see the function if, and or. Very important for Excel. I would say that after the sum and VLOOKUP, the third function that you are going to find in some documents in your work or documents that you are going to handle are this. You need to understand how to interpret these functions, but many of you may find these kind of documents when you are using this type of functions. It's a very important and very interesting functions. Okay, let's start with, again, this is the final exercise. We have it here, and as always we have some sheets, and we are going to understand the use of this function, if function. So here is if function with two exercises, two small tables. We have a second sheet where we are going to see the nested functions and the AND function, and the last one with the OR function. The logical functions and their answers will going to be two, false or true or false. Okay, having considered this, to keep this in mind, we have here an example. We have some names, the qualifications of these names of these students, for instance, that got these grades. And here we're going to add some observation. The observation will be as follows. If it's higher than a value than 10.5, then it's going to be approved. Otherwise, it's going to be disapproved. So what is true will be the first alternative, the first choice, and the false will be the second choice. So let's start to put this theoretical part, this text, inside a formula or function in this D3 cell. So as long as I continue, I will explain you how. So let's start with the if function. So it says, where is your logical? My logical criteria will be first a cell. For instance, if I have this C3 that corresponds to 18 is higher than or is equal to 10.5, as taking as a reference, that value is a made up value that I put it here. You can add any kind of value here. Is equal to 10.5. This is the first logical criteria, comma, because according to the syntax is asking me to do that, comma, then give me a true value when this logic is met. So if this logic is met, that this value that related to John is equal or higher than 10.5, then give him the first alternative, the first choice, that is approved. And then I close the quotation marks. Why should I include it inside the quotation marks? Because remember that in Excel, all text or alphanumeric altogether need to be inside quotation marks. If you don't add it, it will notify it as an error. And then add a comma. What will be the false reply? What will be my if false? In quotation marks, I type disapproved, like this. Okay? So just to end this explanation, this will be the false reply when this logical formula is not met. And this will be my true reply when this logical condition will met. And then I close the brackets, and the reading of this function will be as follows. If C3, that is equivalent to 18, is higher or equal to 10.5, then this student is approved. Otherwise, will be disapproved. Okay, then I close parentheses and enter. So here I got the reply. It's approved. Then I autofill, and you see that I got automatically a reply according to the value that is included here to each of these cells. So remember that this is between quotation marks. This is disapproved because it doesn't meet the logics. The idea is to have a higher grade than 10.5, and so on for each of these cases. This is the logical function. This is the way we work with this function. Okay, that's going to select this, and I'm going to put all disapproved students in red. So I just go to home button, conditional formatting. I select the first option, and with this first option I'm going to select one of these choices. Maybe I can choose any of these two. It's equal to, or there is a text that contains. So I just type here and said it's equal to disapproved, and then immediately it's turned into red. So I can leave it there with that option, and here must be careful. Okay, and then here I select the format that I would like to establish. Could be yellow, could be green, any of them. Or maybe more personalized, I just select this one that says to custom the format, and then I got another window, and I wanted to have the text in red and in bold, all those disapproved. Okay, so now you can see that, and okay, so there I have conditional formatting. If you have noticed more the details, you may see that this procedure that I added here is also the function if, but in a graphic way. So I can put it here. If I am saying if from this selection you can find some that are disapproved, you apply red color to the font, otherwise leave it as it is. So that's how it is working. But if I do it here as a formula, I read it here as a formula, but I'm doing this as a graphic way using the if conditional. Now I'm going to solve this. If that is saying if the age is less than 18, then let's have free access. Otherwise, this would be an adult. So let's locate these two choices here. Then we locate in this cell, and then we start with the function if. And here is asking me, what is your logical text or your logical criteria? This is this cell. If this cell is less than, if this cell is less than 18, then add a comma, 18 years, then give this choice. This option is younger. Otherwise, give it the second option, that is adult, and you put it into quotation marks and then close parentheses. Okay, and now you see that it's younger because it meets the condition. Well, it doesn't, I'm sorry, yes, it meets the condition, but if I do the autofill, you can see that it's related to the value that we have here. For instance, here it says 31, it's adult. All adults are older than 18 years. So we select again this option and then go to conditional formatting, and here I'm going to ask for text that contains, that is different. So it says that all those having younger, put it into green. For instance, I can select temporarily this color, so fill with the green. Okay, and then you have here a second conditional formatting. The first one was in red and here the second one in green. So this is the way we can use the if function. Now let's continue with the other way, with nested functions. I'm going to explain you the exercise. Here we have a list of prices. These are the products that we bought. We bought these in the supermarket, for instance. And here these are the types of products that you added. You assign it a type, an A, B, or C type. And then here we have a cost. Let's say that this mobile costed you more than 1,000. You allocated type A because it was very expensive. The laptop was type B because the price was less than the rest of the market. And now let's see, the next one is the type C. And now here you have the type C is the next product, and I consider it C because the price was 670. So now what I want is, according to this person is saying, if the kind of product is A, then we are going to assign this first reply as a true one. To this cost that we have here, to this cost we are going to assign a 20% more than it costed indeed. So that will be the reply to each of these for all of A types, A kind of products. Okay, so when the product will be B, for instance the second one as the laptop, then you are going to assign 15% plus than the price. And if the kind of product is type C, you are going to assign 10% plus in addition to the cost. So this is going to be represented here. So to do that, we are going to work with the if function, but many times. And now we have a fourth choice that it says otherwise the product is not valid. Then we're going to add all these within these choices when the product is not B, not A, B, or C. So how can we propose this? With the same function if, but nested. Now I type equal if, and then double click. And according to this, if the product is type B or kind B, that's my logical text. If C5 is equal to A, and put it in the inside quotation marks because it's a letter. Now give me the true response, the true value. So I add the cost. Which is the cost? This amount. So this count of 1,800, that is D5, I'm going to add the 20%. The 20% by its real cost. So that is the same value. So this is the reply. You see that the operation is not only text, this is a formula. Okay, so it is necessary to put it into parentheses, otherwise it's not necessary. Let's continue with comma. And now it's saying, what is your false value? I'm not to give it right now because it's giving me another condition. When if it's B, the cost will be added to 15%. Now again I type again the function if, and at the same time it's asking me for the logical criteria. Now it's the same, I select C5 if C5 is equal to B, remember to put it inside quotation marks, then comma, I'm going to assign the 15% plus than the real costs. Then I select the cost, I add the 15% by of the cost itself. Then add a comma. Then it's asking again the false value of this second function if, but I won't give it right already because there is another condition missing because C is missing. Okay, then just close. If C5 is equal to C, and put it also in quotation marks, add a comma, then I will assign the 10%. So to this cost, I'm going to add the 10%. Another way to include the percentage will be typing 0.10, remember? So it's not necessary the percentage symbol. So just multiply by, and then again select the D5, this cell again. Then add the comma, and then it's almost ready. So we are missing the last one. So this is not valid yet. So just open quotation marks, and now I put this. This, it is not valid. And that is the false reply. This is the false value of all these last final function if. So at the same time, this is all the reply of the second if, and at the same time, all of this is the false reply for the first if. Then I close parentheses. How many times do I have to close parentheses? As many times as I typed if. I did it 3 times, so I need to put 3 parentheses and then enter. So with this, I obtain the result. Since this product is a type A, it's adding the 20% higher than its price. And if go down, you may notice it assigns the percentage according to the type of product, A, B, or C. This one, for instance, had a cost of 1,200 and assigned it a 15% more. And also happened with the next one. So it's searching automatically the letters and assigning the percentages related. What happens if the first product would be a kind of product K? Then you see immediately that is not valid. Just because that's why we use this message. When here we have a mistake or entered a wrong information, this message will warn us. Now I put it back to A, and it gets back to the real place. Then I'm going to make a total sum of the sum of this. This one is the price, the total amount of the sales made. Then I go to add the currency symbol, and now I'm going to make a deduction of these two. So I select this amount minus this other amount, and this is my profit, $1,721 according to this. Obviously in individual products, not one by one. But in this way we perform the function if, but nested. Remember, if I would like to pull the function, I can put it here around just to watch how it was performed. Just locate here in the cell, then form text, remember, formula text, and then you select the cell where you want to obtain the formula, and then enter. And here is the formula as it was originally. You can highlight it with different colors or in bold. It is called nested because I have used it more than once. To have a domain of this, need to practice. Now let's see the function if. Function if doesn't work by its own. It usually works with the oldest sister. So here we have some sellers. These sellers made these sales throughout some specific time, and these are the states where they sold these products. This person is saying if sales overcome or well equal to $2,000, and here is the condition, and they sold in the state of New York, they are going to receive a 15% for sales as a bonus to their salary. Otherwise, their bonus would be 0. So let's go and see a review how it goes. For instance, Adam Fred, he sold $5,800. That's all the result for his sales of previous month, and he sold that in New York. Therefore, he is going to receive 15%. And the other one says that Cynthia sold more than 2,000, but she didn't sold in New York. She didn't do that there. So this time she is not going to receive the 15% more. She's going to receive 0, basically 0. Why? Because she didn't overcome selling in New York. She made a good sale in other state, but not in New York. The next one he is going to receive also because he sold in New York. You see that this person didn't sell in New York, but it is not meeting the first requirement because it must be an I. And he sold all that in New York. He overcame the $2,000 and he made a sale in New York. So he's going to receive the bonus of 15% in his salary. In this case, Cynthia, she sold 3,200. She overcome the 2,000 soles, but she didn't make the sale in New York, the strongest state. So in her case, she's not going to receive that bonus of 15%. So she's not going to receive any bonus at all because she didn't do the sale in New York. She made a sale in Tennessee. The next one, he did it, and he's also going to receive the bonus because he overpassed the 2,000 and sold in New York. The next one met just one condition, selling in New York, but not arriving to the amount. But the condition here is that you have met these two conditions at the same time. That's why it says and. So it will be the same for all the rest. Now let's type now again equal if. To use this function, you got to use it all together with the if function. So I'm going to type the mandatory function and this come together, if and and. So it's requesting me now the first logic. The logical value is that if the sales is higher or equal to 2,000, you see that this is not between the quotation marks because it's a number, then at a comma, that's my first logics, and the cell D6, that is the state, could be equal, and I open question mark, open quotation marks and close and include New York and then close parentheses. In this case I need to do that. Why? Because this parenthesis belongs to the function and So these are the conditions that are mandatory. Since I finished these mandatory conditions, so I close the criteria. But here notice that the if function is still open, so this is not closed until the end. So when these criteria, these conditions are met, that is higher than 2,000 sales strictly in the New York State, then add a comma to receive the 15% of, remember that you can work also the percentage like this, the 15% of the sales, in this case the C6 cell, otherwise type 0. Remember that the true reply would be this one. When this is going to be successful, when I have these two requirements met. Who's obliging to do that? The AND function and if function. And who is conditionating 0? If function. Do this or do this according to what the function AND is saying. Then I close parentheses and ready. So he's going to receive $870 as a bonus. Why? Because this person meets both requirements. The sales was higher than 2,000 and also made the sale in New York. Now, if I drag down with the autofill, you could see which didn't meet these two criteria. Now let's get to see an auto sum to see how much do they have extra to these employees for these sales made. Then I got here the total. So that's how we can work with the if and AND function. Now let's go to see OR function. In this function, in comparison to the previous one, is more it's not so strict or rigid as the previous one, but here or it meets one condition or the other one, but at least to meet one. It's not necessary to meet three or the two conditions at the same time. Before I continue, I would say that here in these two criteria, I could include also up to 12 conditions here as a maximum, but here we have just made two. Now here we have Zonal Park de Roses, and here we have the names of the roses, those people that are entering into the park, and here we have the sex and the age. According to the observation, it says here, if sex is female, or you can notice that it says or, not and, so this is not mandatory. It's minor than 12 years old, then has a free entry to the park. Otherwise, we'll have to pay for the entrance. Let's see, for in this case, here is male, doesn't meet the first condition, so has to pay. But it's younger because it is 10 years old, it's a boy, then has a free entrance. This is a woman. Sarah Collins has one criteria, but she's older than 12. But since she meets one condition, she can have free entry. This person doesn't meet the age criteria, has to pay. This one, it doesn't meet the second criteria, but the condition is to be one condition or the other. But she can have also her free entry. According to that, it's going to these observations are going to be added. So let's start. Equal if, just as the condition if, here we type first the OR function like this all together. Now it's requesting me the logical one. It's this is if C6 is equal to female, and also inside the quotation marks, comma, I put it into quotation marks because it's a text, not a number, and then add the D6 because it's the age. It's minor than 12. I don't put it into quotation marks because it's a number. And then I specify that it's less than 12 years old. So I close the parentheses, or this is a woman, or this, or is minor than 12 years old. So one of these conditions, at least one of these conditions must be met, but at least one. Then add a comma, and now comes the reply. The reply would be has free and entry. So I add here pre-entry. Now again a comma. Otherwise, she has to pay for her entrance. Okay, ready? And now I close the parentheses. Remember that this is in the true reply when these conditions are met. Could be one or the other condition or both of them. But at least one of these conditions must be met. Otherwise, we will go to this false reply when none of them are met. So that's what the function OR does. So remember that this is not mandatory as the previous example. Enter. Let's see where is the error. Okay, here's the parentheses. I added an extra parenthesis. It could be an error, a common error too. Okay, so I corrected, then I open and click down. Now we're going to assign a color, then go to conditional formatting, and then I choose this one, and now I would like to put it with colors, the free color, and those ones that are in green, we are going to apply a more personalized format. And I'm going to ask that the text will be in green, this one, and bold, and also I can play with the fill. For instance, I would like to have the fill in yellow, and I said okay. So here this is just a sample. You can have here it's yellow and here's the text. So let's suppose that this is a male, he's 10 years old. So let's suppose it is 27 years old, and see, it disappeared the color. Why? Because it's not meeting the criteria. Okay, so with this we arrive to the logical functions. I put it into practice, please. And then there comes the intermediate level of Excel for Business. We are going to develop more in a deeper way and with more realistic examples that you usually work in a company. And the idea is to consider the tools that you are going to need in a company using Excel. And this is going to increase. Remember that Excel is very wide, it has more than 400 functions and more than 1 million of combinations within these functions. So I leave you here and see you on the next level, that is Excel Intermediate.